Hi, welcome to Jam Jam Gardens. I'm Jennifer. I will be your host. This is Annie. Hi. Annie is my helper. You'll see her in a lot of the videos. Right now she's got a good scar on her nose developing because somebody wasn't looking when they were chasing a squirrel and she ran right into the puppy pen. The puppy pen hosts my other buddy. This is Charlie. This is when he is about 4 or 5 years old. Charlie is now a 7-year-old Flemish Giant mix. That makes him about 80 to 90 years old in human years. So he's getting up there, but he and Annie are bestest friends. Annie will chase anything else at all, but her and Charlie have this weird little beautiful connection that she's given a treat like a sweet potato chew or something to that effect. She always runs outside to Charlie, who's in his playpen, and lays down beside him while she chews it. Whenever we say night night Charlie, she always wants to go out and see him, and she's wagging her tail now. So you'll see her a lot. You might see her bumping into tables. She might knock over the camera. She has epilepsy, which is a seizure disorder. One of the medications that she's on causes bad coordination, so she tends to fall or trip or forget there's a puppy pen directly in her path. So if you see her tumble, like, don't worry. As she hits another thing, I'm going to close that. Don't worry, she'll be okay. Whenever she does have a hard tumble, she gets Medicam. We watch and we try to baby-proof the yard as much as possible. Just sometimes she forgets, and that's just from the medication. So that medication dose gets changed. Right now it's being lowered to try to help with that. And we'll see how that goes. Because Annie has been seizure-free for almost 3 months, which is huge for her, knock on wood. I am also epileptic. The reason I adopted her was because she was epileptic, and we are her 6th home because no one could handle it. She was 3 years old, having gone through 6 home. One of them was abusive. So she has been with us for 3 years now. She's not going anywhere. We finally kind of have, knock on wood again, a handle on her seizures. I am over a year seizure free, knock on wood, so we're both doing well. Thank you for asking, even though you didn't. The gardening aspect of everything, I've been gardening for the last 7 years. What my video journal is supposed to kind of do is, one, to give some outside the box thinking, to also have tried and true thinking. I take information from a lot of different sources. I like to read. I follow vlogs. I talk to people. I get out there and I also experiment. So I try different things. If people have tried it for one thing, but no one's ever tried it for something else, heck, I'm not doing this professionally. I try it too. I'm allowed to change my mind and do things differently just because I want to. For example, I know I shouldn't have started peas January 1st. I did because I was bored and I was itching to go, and peas are pretty inexpensive. So I currently have peas growing, testing a new grow system, and they did fantastic. They are now way too old to transplant, but they did fantastic. And I'll show you guys that in other videos. It's an automatic watering seed starting thing. Some of the different places I learned from one is Garden Answer, and she's the one that got me thinking about that. So I found one from a local company called Lee Valley that instead of being plastic is very heavy duty styrofoam, which I wasn't the happiest about. However, it is very, very dense, unlike the normal styrofoam that you'd find. It comes with a lid, comes with a wicking mat, everything just like the one that she had, except it's more heavy duty. So we have that. I have 2 indoor grow lights, and I'll just spin you so you can see. The system is over there. And I also have one of those home hardware 4-tier greenhouses that cost like $60 to $80 if you buy it brand new. You can often find it used because most people don't use it for very long. I loved it because one, you can start or overwinter stuff. So if you get your foxglove, they only flower the second year. Well, why don't you start them in July and then overwinter them in that little mini greenhouse so that the following year they are good to go instead of, not gain enough energy. So I have flowering foxglove after starting them. I think I started mine in September, and then just as an afterthought. And so the following year I got flowering foxglove. They're really good for doing wildflowers if you have a bird or rodent population issue. So if your birds or your rodents go after your sprouts like mine do, if you have cutworm like I do, it's very helpful to start them in there until they're thick and fibrous and less succulent and less of a temptation to the birds and the rodents. And then you can put them out. And that has been a game changer too, because I was losing everything. I wasn't having beans or peas because guess what? Somebody would go after the direct sown stuff, boop, and take it out. So yeah, I find them very, very helpful. If you can get your hands on one and you have the space, I would definitely invest just to have it there because it is pretty much a cold frame. Is it the best cold frame? No, it's a little too high. However, it's really awesome. I also kept a lot of my nasturtiums last year on call, ready to go whenever I had an aphid breakout. I had in my little greenhouse, my cold frame, I had a bunch of nasturtiums and I just pulled them from the plug as I needed them, popped them out there. The aphids would go after them instead of my kale, and then I just dig up that plant and chuck it. And I had like 24 nasturtiums ready to go as volunteer plants at any time. So that's really helpful as well. And then my growing area, I have 2 8x4 raised beds. I also have a row of raspberry canes, a little plot of strawberries, and some flower beds. And then we have an apple tree and a pear tree that have been there since before we moved in 7 years ago. So that is the basics of it. We are south facing, but we have a lot of trees in our neighbor's yard. So it's not full sun. It's about, I think, 6 hours at the most for almost all the areas. And then other areas, because we have taller fencing or tall salmonberry bushes that are grown that way for the pollinators and the birds. Because of that, we do have half of my beds are in part shade and the other half are in mostly full sun. I did open a new area this year that's going to be a full sun area for my blueberry plants that are in containers because our soil is too basic. When blueberries want a 4.5 to 5 pH, my soil is about a 7. So we're trying that this year. But that is basically what this thing's going to be about. I'm in Zone 8A. If you follow the coast of California all the way up to the border with Canada, boop, I'm right there above the border between the Canadian border and the US border, about 5 minutes. When we're allowed to go into the States, that's where I get my gasoline because it's from the same source, but so much cheaper there. And they also have my favorite cereal, Raisin Bran Crunch, not available in Canada. So sad. But yeah, that is where I'm at. Temperate rainforest as well. So we get a lot of rain, and then we get about a month and a half of a dry period halfway through July into August. And powdery mildew is an issue. Late blight is an issue on tomatoes. So that is where we're at. All my tomatoes are grown in containers. All my cucumbers are grown in containers to try to stop that issue. Everything else is grown in the raised beds or the flower beds. So if that has any interest to you, if that sounds something similar to you're doing, then please follow. I post tips as I go. I talk my way through things a lot. I try to keep the videos under 10 minutes. So yeah, have a great day. Welcome to the channel, and we'll see where this takes us. Bye.